Hi everybody, so today we're going to be talking about the external and the middle ear, and I'm going to do a video on the inner ear, but because the inner ear is kind of complex, I'm leaving that for its own separate video. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to be talking first about this part of the ear that's right here that you can see. This is called the auricle or the pinna, and it's the outermost part of the ear, and it's made up of elastic tissue, so that's why it's so flexible, so if I move it around, it comes back right into shape. So let's go ahead and get started, and draw the outermost part. You'll notice there's a piece that goes, it kind of flaps over on the outside. This is known as the helix. And then just really quick before I go on, just once again, the ear is known as the auricle or the pinna. Okay, so there's my helix. That's the outermost part of the ear right here. And then what's kind of interesting is there's some people have a little tubercle that's right here. And this is called Darwin's tubercle. And it serves no function. And the only reason it's named after Darwin is because of the fact that Darwin mentions it in a book, and that's the only time anyone's ever seen it. So we have Darwin's tubercle right there. Now, on the inside of this part of the ear, we actually have another structure that comes around that looks like a long tube, and it's called the antihelix. So I have a helix and I have an antihelix. Okay, so this is my antihelix that's going to be right here. Okay, and then as I get towards the bottom of the antihelix, well, before we get to that, let's talk about something else real quick. If you've ever had to cover your ears, you'll notice there's a little flap, and I know you can't really see it, but you can feel it. There's a little flap right on the outside of the ear, and this is going to be called the tragus. Okay, so this is my tragus that's right here. And if you've ever had to cover your ears, you'll actually push that right over the opening of the ear. So that's going to be my tragus right there. Okay, and then if we look at this part here, this inner part, as it comes down, it goes up just a little bit, then it dips down like this, and then it goes up and connects to the tragus. This part that's right here is known as the antitragus. Okay, so that's my antitragus that's going to be right there. And then if you'll notice, there's this part that dips down right here. This is known as my intertragal notch. Okay, so now let's start talking about the inside of the ear a little bit. And we have the opening on the ear, okay? And this has, and then this is going to go into the inside. So this is basically called, it has a few different names. We call it the external, the most common name is the ear canal, but it's also known as the external auditory meatus, the external acoustic meatus, which I like to call it, and also the auditory canal. So we're going to have the opening. So again, this is the part that you like put a Q-tip into your ear if you did that, but you should not put Q-tips into your ears. But this is going to be my external acoustic meatus. Now, on the inside of my external acoustic meatus, we have something called cerumen. Okay, so let me just put this on here. This is my cerumen. And you guys probably more commonly know this, and in fact, I know you more commonly know this, as earwax. So you have earwax on the inside of your ear because it captures things like microbes and dust and dirt and things such as that. So that's going to be the external acoustic meatus. Oh, wait, one more thing. And you also have, to make this earwax, you actually have glands, which are going to be called ceruminous glands. Okay, you're going to have ceruminous glands in there. So what happens with these ceruminous glands is, like we said, they're going to make your earwax. Okay, and then that'll be in here. Okay, so anyways, at the end of this canal, we have another structure. Okay, and this is called the tympanic membrane. All right, tympanic membrane, which you more commonly known as the eardrum. So this is going to be my eardrum. right there, all right? This part here, from the outside to this eardrum, this is considered my external ear right here. So I'm just gonna draw a little line going up like this, and this is my external ear. Okay? Now, attached to this eardrum, we're gonna have a structure, and this structure is going to be a bone. Okay, and you actually have 3 bones in here. And these bones together are known as ossicles. So this is the first ossicle, and it's known as the malleus. Okay, and that's a bone. And then connected to the malleus, we're going to have another bone, which we're going to call the incus. So we get the malleus, the incus, and then connected to the incus, we have something called the stapes. If you notice, the stapes looks kind of like a stirrup that you would put your foot into if you're riding a horse. So this is the stapes, right there, okay? Now, the stapes is connected to a structure that we call the oval window. So here's my oval window, all right? And then the oval window is going to go down, and it's going to connect to it's part of a structure called the cochlea. Okay, and this here would be known as my round window. Okay, so, and then now we're in the inner ear. So this is my inner ear. And then this would be the middle ear, which we'll talk about right now. So we have the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. And then on the malleus, we actually have a muscle coming off of this. And this muscle we call the tensor tympani muscle. All right, so that's the tensor tympani muscle. And then on the stapes, we have another muscle. It's the smallest muscle in the body. And this is going to be called my stapedius muscle. All right. Now, the reason you have those 2 muscles is if there's a loud sound, what happens is these muscles contract so they stop the movement of these ossicles here. Remember, the ossicles are made up of the malleus, the incus, and the stapes, okay? There's one more thing that's going to be in the middle ear, and I'm going to put it right here. All right, and this is called your eustachian tube. Okay, and this is known as the eustachian tube. So the eustachian tube actually connects down to the nasal pharynx, which is where your nasal cavity actually meets your throat, okay? And what this is designed to do is it's designed to basically stop, or it's to regulate the amount of pressure that's in the middle ear here, okay? And then you have basically, these aren't just open spaces. You actually have bone attached in here, okay? So, what I always like to tell people is in the middle ear, you have 3 bones, 2 muscles, and 1 tube. So let's take a look at how this works real quick. So I'm going to have a sound that's going to be all the way over here, and it's going to come in from outside into the external acoustic meatus. Now when it gets to the tympanic membrane, it's going to cause the tympanic membrane to vibrate. As the tympanic membrane vibrates, it's going to cause this malleus to vibrate, which is going to cause the incus to vibrate, which is going to cause the stapes to vibrate. When the stapes vibrates, it's going to cause the oval window to vibrate. Inside of here, there's a fluid. It's called perilymph. So what's going to happen is that perilymph is going to vibrate, which is then going to cause a membrane to vibrate, which is going to cause another fluid called endolymph to vibrate. The endolymph is then going to cause another membrane to vibrate, which is then going to cause some stereocilia, or some hair cells, to rub against another membrane, which is called the tectorial membrane, which is then going to send a signal to the brain. Okay, so, and again, this part here we're going to do in another video. So Again, so we get the vibrate, the vibrate, the vibrate, the vibrate, 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 and then we send a signal to the brain. So that's it for the external and middle ear, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time.